All right, we are live. Hi, Club Amore. Welcome back to another video. So this is our Worthy Women Winning series. I am Dejanay Knuckles, also known as the Worthy Mother. I am a coach, a mentor, a author, and a single mother, also a divorcee. And so I came up with this series because I just wanted to showcase women who were thriving after divorce so that the people that are still struggling in separation and divorce could see that there is joy and freedom after the whole process. And so right now I am doing beta one-on-one coaching, a beta one-on-one coaching program. So if you are interested in reclaiming your life after separation and divorce, you can head over to bit.ly/the worthy mother and book a free 15-minute discovery call. I'll have all the information in the description box. And also, I have my daughter here. So if you hear her, see her in the background, then yeah, we're just gonna keep the live rolling. And so,
Yes.
without further ado, we have a guest. We have Drew here, and Drew, you can go ahead and introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I'm so excited to be a part of this amazing platform, of course, encouraging women that there is life after divorce. My name is Drew Martin. I am, first of all, a mom of three. I'm a new empty nester. My children are all grown. I can't believe it. It seems like just yesterday they were tiny and they were running all over the place, and now they're grown. They're still running all over the place, but they're just not
Yeah.
my house, right? So, yes, I am a mom. I have the most of my experience have been in the beauty industry. I was, and still is to a degree. I've been a makeup artist for about 20 plus years. Now I'm a little bit more in a corporate space, a decision that I did make, because of, being a single mom and raising the kids. So needing to
Yeah.
be a little more accessible. I also mentor women. I've had a life groups class for about 7+ years. I'm an author as well. I wrote a devotional journal called This Morning My Soul Sipped Espresso. And
That's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
exciting.
yeah. It's really cool. I'll be talking more about it here soon in my live. I'm sorry, in my private Facebook group called Sis, Someone I Support. That's something new that I've been launching just to kind of engage women. And I do a live on Tuesdays at like 8:30. And I usually will just have people on and just really encourage women and just really keep us motivated because we need that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nice. Sounds like you're doing big things.
Yes,
Um,
exciting.
so let's just hop right into it.
Yes.
So my first question to you is what like environment did you grow up in when you were a kid? Was it like a two-parent household, single parent? Was it a healthy environment, toxic? Explain that.
Sure, sure. I grew up in a two-parent household, both my mom and my dad. Um, as far as I mean, I'm a middle child, older brother, older sister, younger brother, younger sister. So I really, I guess the older I got, and I was married and had kids, it made me think about my environment in terms of,
Mhm.
toxic is a new word. We didn't know what
Yeah,
that was when we were young, right?
yeah.
I could say that my parents were pretty traditional, old school. They were big on, we're providing for you. We had, lights are always on. We
Mhm.
had what we needed.
Yeah.
But my parents definitely were very hard workers. They worked a lot, so I was kind of home with my older brother, older sister, younger siblings a lot. So
Mhm.
I could probably say I had to grow up, pretty quickly, because my parents worked. So I was kind of responsible for younger siblings and, of course, nieces and nephews once my older sister, started to have kids. But, I could look back and say that there were things I wish I had more of, probably more attention, more affection, things like that, because there,
Mhm.
I was a middle child.
Mhm.
But I, they they did what they knew how to do, with what they
Yeah.
had. Yeah, but definitely parent household.
Okay. Nice. So how do you think those that two-parent household, growing up with the father, but also on the other end having that middle child, like
Mm-hmm.
not having that connection, I
Yep.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
How did those things just play a role in your relationships in the future?
Having my dad, because my dad and I are, and still to this day, are really close. I'm a daddy's girl, but more like he's my friend. Like my
Mhm.
daddy's like my homeboy, like
Yeah, yeah.
like I love my dad, and we've always been close. I think for me, how it affected my relationships, subconsciously, I believe I looked for a lot of those qualities, in men,
Mhm.
that my dad had. Obviously, I expected the provisional aspect of things because my dad was the type, that worked and took care of his family, came home, made sure we was good. He spent time with us. So I think that I probably felt like in choosing relationships, I looked for that person to be able to provide,
Mhm.
stability, for the household. So that was probably primarily what I looked for, some of those same qualities. um I can't say that my parents were the most affectionate, maybe
Mhm.
around us, because again, they were very traditional.
Mhm.
So I don't think that I looked for the affection side from in my relationships, but realizing that that was important to me and that was something I needed.
Mhm.
So I didn't realize that until later on. Like I need like affection. I need to know, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
friendship in
Mhm.
my relationship. And I don't think
Mhm.
I realized that until, maybe later on, but it wasn't something I based the relationship on initially.
Yeah, yeah, I
Mhm.
understand.
Yeah.
Understand that. So that's good. So before your first marriage, so you've only been married one time, right?
I've actually been married twice. I've actually
Okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep.
So before your first marriage, where was your like mindset or your state of mind when it came to relationships?
My parents were very strict.
Mhm.
Again, Christian, kind of, Christian family,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
so my dad, so they were pretty strict. My mom, I think that because, and that's another, she wasn't raised by her mom, she was raised by an aunt. And I think a
Mhm.
lot of her reason for being strict was probably different from my dad's.
Yeah,
She was just like, okay, I don't want you to be a teen mom. I don't want you to get pregnant. I don't want you to get
yeah,
whatever. So her reasons was more so, I don't want you to have some of the choices or make some of the decisions I made, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
My dad, it was just more so, um, he didn't believe in just dating a bunch of people and all of
Mhm.
that. Like he believed in, okay, if you're dating, do you want to marry my daughter? You know what I mean? Like, what
Mhm.
you dating her for? Kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't really get or didn't have the encouragement, I should say, to date in a healthy way.
Mhm.
So that way I probably would have had a better um selection or a better opportunity to choose what would be better for me if I had a little more experience, and I didn't.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So what is health when you say healthy way, what does that mean to you?
When I say that, healthy dating, just being able to learn how to just be friends, with
Mhm.
with a male. Not that you're putting that much pressure on the
Mhm.
on the person, being that young. And I guess I say that because, like, my first husband, I knew him. I met him. I was in high school. I was a
Mhm.
freshman in high school. He was a senior, in high school. So he was, a little older than me, and because my parents were really strict, him kind of coming around or what have you, it was like, I feel like he just kind of played the role, because he
Mhm.
knew my parents were strict. He knew kind of what they expected. And I didn't really get a chance to get to know him enough to know, okay, is this someone I want to marry? Do I like him
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah.
be my friend? Like,
Mhm.
or is he just my parents' choice kind of thing?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I mean by healthy, just having the parameters to just be allowed to get to know somebody,
Yeah.
versus
Without all the pressure.
without like
Yeah.
your parents or the pressure of, okay, you've been seeing me coming around all this time, like what's up, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And like I
Yeah.
said, he was a little older than me, so when he graduated high school, he went to the Navy. So all of those things look really good in the eyes of your parents because they
Yeah.
look like the reason you would choose. Okay, he's going to be a great provider.
Mhm.
He's going to be, he's in the Navy. He's this, or this. But some of those other character things, are you
Mhm.
faithful? Are you going to cheat? Are you going to,
Yeah,
like those aren't
exactly.
the things that you're
Mhm.
looking for because you don't know what to look for. And I
Yeah.
think you get that experience from being able to just get to know someone as a friend, just kind of dating, maybe going out movies here or there. You're around that person, you get to learn their character to
Yeah.
decide, do I want to spend the rest of my life with this person, or do I even want to date them past a month?
Yeah.
When I
Yeah.
realize some of the issues that they may have.
Okay. Yeah. Um, so what led up to your divorce with your first husband?
It was a couple of different things. Primarily, um, it was a lot of family involvement from his side.
Mhm.
And I think for me, when I look back, I didn't feel like I was necessarily his wife because there was a lot of weigh in, I should say, from his mom and kind of his side of the family. So for me, it really affected my self-esteem, and who I was. I felt like it was a lot of pressure being compared, to what I
Mhm.
should be as a mom or what I should be as a wife.
Mhm.
There was also some trust issues, there.
Mhm.
And I just realized that, this wasn't it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, and then I don't feel like I really got to know him. I didn't know myself. I was 19,
Yeah.
when I got
Mhm.
married. And
Mhm.
literally I moved out of my parents' house and into a house with a husband and a child.
Mhm.
So I didn't know myself. So as I began to grow and evolve and learn myself, there was a lot of control there. Like, you
Mhm.
should be like this, you should be like
Yeah.
that. And it caused me a lot of resentment, and a lot of
Mhm.
bitterness. Like, I want to be myself, I want to be
Yeah.
me, and that wasn't necessarily welcomed. So eventually I was just kind of like, no, this isn't going
Mhm.
to work.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
you left so you were the one that left the marriage?
Actually, he ended up filing for divorce to as an ultimatum, as like
Um,
a control
mhm.
thing,
Yeah.
like, because there was some financial issues, there was some just
Mhm.
other normal issues that married couples have, when they're
Yeah,
getting,
yeah.
in the beginning stages. And
Mhm.
because it was such a uh dictatorship style, relationship, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, a lot of things was just, it's either this or that, so there was a lot
Mhm.
of arguing or what have you, because I'm bucking the system. I'm like, look,
Mhm.
you ain't
Yeah.
gonna, you is not my daddy, I
Exactly.
got a daddy, and I know,
Yeah.
you is not about to tell me what to do.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of issues with that. And I think the divorce thing, him filing, was totally an ultimatum. Like, you gonna listen to what I say or else.
Yeah.
And I was like, bet, okay, you sending me a divorce, like that's kind of my thing, because I was over it at that point. And
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had a life. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I literally never felt like I did much. I didn't have a life. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what I wanted. At the time.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Okay.
So he filed, and then I was like, okay, fine. You know.
Mhm.
So then we kind of went from there.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So since you said you wanted a life, so after that ended, how did you heal and how did you try to acquire that life that you wanted?
Well, I didn't. I knew I wanted life, I did not know what that was. You know,
Okay.
um, I I okay, so I was working for a company, and I wanted to. I'm from New Orleans. I was living in New Orleans at the time, and my husband, at the time, the type of work he did, he was able to like travel. He worked like on a ship. He was an engineer on a ship. So, he was gone for like a month or two, at a time, and I was just home, with the kids. I had my daughter at that time, and then when she was 5, I got pregnant with my middle son. And so I end up applying for a job in another state, like in Houston, because I was like, okay, we can live anywhere. We were living really close to his family at the time, even though my family was there as well. We lived closer to his family. And I just felt like I wanted to kind of come from under that surveillance, you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. Like I wanted to be, in a different space. And plus, I felt like he was advancing in life and advancing in his career and what he wanted to do. And I felt like I was stuck. Like he would have been perfectly fine with me just staying at home and having a bunch of babies. And that's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that, because most women, it's a blessing, to work in home, but not to the extent of being you not being free to be creative and do the things that God has placed in your heart to do.
Exactly.
So, and also not feeling like that's a bad thing, like where's the compromise, especially when you're that young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I see if you were in the workforce, or you were in corporate America and you and your husband collectively decided, hey, it'd be better, or we'll save more money if you're home, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But never have gone out and never gotten a chance to do anything. I just felt like I was this creative, but I didn't have an outlet to express that.
Yeah.
So I ended up applying for a job in another state and kind of just telling them, listen, I'm moving whether you coming or not. If you want to stay here and, come visit us, cool. I'm going to do it. And that was a really good experience. It gave me a sense of validation, gave me a sense of I've achieved something on my own. It was tough. It was hard. My babies were young. My daughter was 5 and my son was not even 1, when I made that move. And, but it was, I wouldn't change it for anything. I learned how much courage I had. I learned how brave I was. I learned that I could do it, and that was probably the beginning of me knowing, that I could do it, because a lot of women in a situation like that, you don't feel like you can do it on your own. So you stay, because like, I don't feel like I can. So having the courage that young, with 2 little kids, making that move, I mean, that was nothing but God, because I don't know, when I look back, I don't know how I did that, on my own. With I didn't have any family. I didn't know anybody, so that was huge.
Yeah, that is huge. I can't even imagine.
They were little, like my daughter, and we laugh about that to this day. I'm like, I'm surprised if I'd have stayed there, you'd be speaking Spanish and everything else, because, it was a totally different world. And my son was like, he was months, when we moved. And, God just really allowed me to meet some amazing women that I'm still friends with to this day, that really, 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 I don't know what I would have done, had I not had those women to suggest things like, a daycare and, just different, because at the time I was in more of a retail type of job. So, I mean, during holidays and stuff, it'd be 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, I'm getting home, so it was tough. I don't know how I did it, but it was something I had to do, for myself. Yeah.
That's
and we
awesome.
end up, getting a divorce shortly thereafter. Cause I think for him, I think he was like, wow, you know what I mean? She actually did it, kind of thing, like I was able to not be intimidated by a lot of those, because a lot of it's scare tactics,
Definitely.
trying to control you and keep you, in an environment that you may not want to be in, or that's not the best for you, So again, I'm grateful, to have had that mindset at that young age, maybe 20, I was maybe 23, 24 at the time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that you were able to just move forward and not be, I mean, you probably were scared, but like,
scared. Yeah, I was so scared.
Have that courage to just go ahead and do it. Like, that is awesome, because that's the same type of deal that happened with me and my separation as well. Like I was separated and I came out to Georgia by myself,
Yep.
and so with my daughter, and so
It's
same
a
type of
lot.
thing. But
Mhm.
the only difference is I had a couple people around here that I knew.
Mhm.
So yeah, I never a place where I just didn't know anybody. So that I
Mm.
couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, I literally the people and not even the team, even though it was the same company I was working for, I didn't even know the team, because they were
Mhm.
all from Houston, from the Texas area. And
Yeah,
I was from Louisiana. I didn't have any family there. I didn't know anybody, so I
yeah,
got to know the, people once I got there,
yeah.
so whew, I thank God. I don't even know how I did it.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. So, so you said so are you still married now, or are you divorced a second time?
Yeah, so divorced the second time,
Okay.
because I think, just to kind of, being married the second time, I think that had a lot to do with, my perspective of marriage, my perspective of myself. Even
Mhm.
though I did all of those things, was able to move, do all of that, I think that there was still some things in me that didn't feel like I could really do it on my own,
Mhm.
for an extended period of time. I
Yeah.
think there was also a part of me that still believed in marriage, and
Mhm.
believed in, I didn't even know how to date. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like when I
Yeah.
was divorced, it's not
Mhm.
like I knew, again, going back to what I was saying, being young and not understanding healthy dating and just getting
Yeah.
to know people, I
Yeah.
didn't know how to do that. So
Yeah.
even though I was married and divorced, I was terrified of dating, like I
Mhm.
didn't know what to do. I mean, that may
Yeah.
sound crazy to people, but I'm
No.
just like, I was out of the game. Like I literally left my parents' house and was married all
Exactly.
that time. So once I got a
Exactly.
divorce, I'm like, what you do when they
Yeah.
call you? Do you call back? Do you text them
Yeah.
the next first day? Do you wait? Like, what do you
Yeah.
say? Do you let them come to your house? Do you go to their house? Like, I didn't know what to do. And
Yeah.
so I end up moving back to New Orleans after
Mhm.
I got the divorce because I was an emotional wreck. I
Yeah.
had lost. I was probably down to a size 4.
Mhm.
I was depressed. Probably didn't even know to go to therapy. I had my baby sister to come up and stay with me to help me with the kids for some months,
Mhm.
and I was like in a not good place,
Mhm.
functioning, functional depression, still going to
Yeah.
work, still doing everything, but was sick, living off of coffee, and that was it.
Mhm.
But then so I finally made the decision to move back home because I was like, okay, I need help, with the kids. I
Yeah.
can't just basically raise the kids in daycare. So when I moved back home, I was still working for the same company, and
Mhm.
a friend of mine, actually a coworker, introduced me to one of her friends. It was like a friend
Mhm.
of her husband's. He was a single dad, at the time. So of course, all of the things that appeared to be, great at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just easy. It was like an already made family, pretty much.
Mhm.
He was
Mhm.
very welcoming, to me and my kids.
Mhm.
So it became like an instant family, very
Mhm.
quickly.
Yeah.
But some of those same things were there, the control issues, the same.
Mhm.
But I realized, that it was because I didn't know myself, my self worth, and my value again from being in a situation before that was very verbally abusive, that was very
Yeah.
demeaning, that was very, my self-esteem was not there. I didn't have
Yeah.
the confidence in myself. It had nothing to do. I made great money.
Mhm.
I did. So when I look back, I literally could have just been fine, with just me
Yeah.
and my
Yeah.
kids, just gotten a place to stay and just kind of constantly built my life. But
Yeah.
instead, I felt like I needed the relationship component
Mhm.
because maybe that's
Yeah.
what I saw, coming up, man, woman, man, in a
Mhm.
house together, family. So in my mind, that meant, you good, because
Yeah.
you're,
Yeah.
in the house. And then a part of me probably felt like I let my kids down as well. I carried a lot of shame and guilt about that. Um,
Mhm.
you know, uh, going through the divorce in my first marriage, now my kids are are coming from a divorced home. I didn't come from a divorced home. I felt like I let
Yeah.
them down and put them in an environment, it was just so many
Yeah.
different emotions that I had. So
Yeah.
when I met the guy, I really should have just dated him if I knew how to,
Yeah. Yeah.
situation was comfortable for me. It became familiar for me. And so when he, did ask me to marry him or what have you, which I hadn't known him very long,
Mhm.
I end up just kind of going with it because it,
Yeah.
it seemed like the best thing to do. It seemed like the easy way, and it wasn't, over time.
Yeah.
It was not easy. It was tough.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's good too, because that's good to mention, because I think a lot of people think about how women who grow up in broken households or like single parent, single mom households or whatever, they are out looking for that piece,
Hmm.
that missing dad. But you, on the other hand, which is really, like, it makes sense to me that
Hmm.
you saw a two-parent household, so now you're out looking to be what you saw. Like,
Same
okay, well,
thing.
I have to be that, because
Yeah.
that's what. So that's really good
Yeah,
to
you
mention.
you
Yeah,
want the same thing. Like you, I I I grew up with my dad in the house, so
yeah,
I want my kids to have a dad, in the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
That's what it should be like. I
Hmm.
did not understand how to be a single mom because
Yeah,
I didn't know what that looked like. I
yeah,
didn't have, my mother was very strong. My mother was very, she wasn't weak. She wasn't, she was more, actually a little more, more of the disciplinarian than my dad was. But
yeah.
I didn't understand what that looked like for me to go out and say, okay, I'm divorced, I'm about to go get my life and do. I
Hmm.
didn't know what that was, even though I had all the components, that
Yeah,
would have still made me do well, as a single mom. I didn't see myself that way,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
felt like I still needed to be married, or to have a
Mhm.
stable household, in order
Mhm.
to raise my kids. I
Yeah.
didn't see myself just dating and then maybe later on, deciding to go that route again.
Mhm.
So I literally was divorced. I don't even think I was divorced 2 or 3 years before I was married again.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. So, with the second divorce, and coming out of that, how did you heal in that area? Do you feel like, um, you you finally got to a place where you were able to heal completely, to where, like you said, your self-esteem was shot before? Like, do you feel like you got to a place where your self-esteem and your self-confidence and your self-worth blossomed after that second marriage?
No, I feel like it probably worked. um it did the opposite. It probably took
Okay.
me to a deeper issues, with
Mhm.
self-esteem, because that situation was just horrible. It was just when I say that, the end was so, it was so many different things going on at the end,
Mhm.
that it made me begin to question my decision. You know what I mean? Like why, how
Yeah.
you, something turns out really bad and you just kind of beat
Mhm.
yourself up, like, what was I thinking? Because I
Mhm.
think the signs, again, now there's so much conversation about toxic things and narcissism and all of those things.
Mhm.
At that time, there wasn't that much dialogue about things like that. You just looked
Yeah.
for what traditionally a good man was,
Yeah.
a man who worked, a man who provided. I never had those issues. Both times I was married, the provisional piece on the outside looking in, what the world or what people would say
Yeah.
is a good man, was there. I
Yeah.
didn't have those issues. My second husband, I was very well taken care of, myself and the kids,
Mhm.
but it was the possessiveness, it was the
Mm.
control, it
Mm.
was the putting down, it was the arguing, the fighting.
Yeah.
um both, when you're with someone who is broken, themselves, and they have a lot of issues, emotional issues. They're trying to control and trying to manipulate the relationship in so many ways where you feel trapped.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
me, with my second husband, my fear was, because again, he was a single dad as well. His daughter lived, she was a year younger than my daughter. They're still very close to this day. And so I didn't want the girls, even though it would have been good for the boys either, but they were younger, but I just didn't want the girls. I just remember thinking that I do not want my girls to grow up and see me in this type of situation and them to feel like it was okay. I don't want them to feel like it's okay for their husband to curse them out and call them names or break stuff or, just be in a rage. I didn't want them to grow up feeling like that was okay. So for me, with my second marriage, even though it was still abuse, in a lot of ways, it was more outward, where the kids could see it. So I knew that I had to get out of that, because it was always my fear that, something can happen to me. You know what I mean? Something can happen to the kids. If a person is that unstable, then you start having issues. You start fearing for your own safety. And that just goes to show you, like, my mental state, even at the time, to ignore those red flags. You know what I'm saying? Initially, just feeling like I wanted to have the security or the familiarity of a house with a parent, two parents, husband and a wife, in a home. But you have all these other things that are coming along with it that is not healthy.
Yeah, that's definitely, and that's one thing that I teach my clients is about, like, the awareness of that, because like you said, like, we look at, like, if they have a good job and the outward appearance and this and that, but is their character, like, is their character right? And nobody really talks about the character of things.
They don't talk about that. No, even now.
Like, even now,
I read so much. I'll go through, on social media like Instagram and stuff, and I'll be reading stuff, and I'm like, girl, because they'll think, they're talking so much about the man that's making six figures, and if you're settling, that means because he doesn't make as much money as you, or does he have a house, all this stuff. And that ain't it. He can have all of these things, but if he's going to still cheat on you, you know what I mean? If he's not going to be faithful to his relationship because he has all of these things, so he still feels like he has options, if he has all of these things, but he's not mentally well, if he hasn't gone through therapy and counseling and get help with some of his unresolved issues, y'all are going to have problems, probably far more problems, because there's going to be outbursts, there's going to be fighting, there's going to be arguing, it's going to be hell, because you're dealing with a person with multiple personalities, and it's just these are things that we don't look for, because you are looking for, my level of comfort. People would look at me, and I'm not saying this just to speak on material things. I always got amazing gifts. We whatever we wanted to do, we went out to eat, we got anything I said I wanted or thought I wanted, you got it, so other women would look at me like, what's the problem? He's a great person, but I'm like, you don't see the behind the doors, behind the scenes, you don't know what me and the kids are going through, at home, so settling doesn't mean you're settling because he doesn't make a certain amount of money, or he doesn't fit the standards of what they're saying a good man should be, in terms of how much he's spending on you on a date, or if he buying you a Gucci bag, or if y'all going on vacations. I did all of those things in both marriages, because they both made really good money, but they were both not good, for me, because those character things were not there, and as far as the part of your question where you talked about healing, I don't think, because another story, when I was divorced, when I went through my second divorce, I went into a child custody issue. So that went on for years, you know, because it was in the middle of Hurricane Katrina and I was by state, you know, trying to, you know, live here and go back and forth. So that went on for some time, which also took a lot out of me emotionally. So I can't really say I even started the path of healing probably until maybe just a few years ago, you know, because now again, therapy and health and mental health and all that, that's just been a conversation, you know, probably over the last 4 or 5 years, especially in the brown community, you know, the Black community, that's not something we really talked about. So I think even as I tried, because I'm still not a dater like that, but even as I started to try to meet people and I started seeing similar patterns, you know, not to the point of dating, but in my choices of people and what I listed as my reason for why I started seeing those things to be the same. I was like, okay, Drew, you probably need to, you know, just do a little therapy so that way you can talk through some things. To understand why you choose the people that you choose, you know, and that's been amazing. But again, that's only been maybe the past, you know, for 3 to 4 years, you know, so it's still new, but it helps.
Yeah. And it's good that you came to that point where you realized, like, okay, let me try to, because you're right, like Black community, like now it's become more popular with social media and stuff about therapy, but yeah, people in the
We didn't
Black
do
brown
therapy. No,
nobody did
indeed.
therapy.
We
Everybody
didn't
talked
do
down on
therapy.
therapy. Yeah.
And it's crazy because when I think about it, you know, we have these amazing jobs with this amazing health insurance, you know, that covers sessions, you know, of therapy and other races of people, you know, they go to HR, get them some time off and go lay on
Yeah.
the couch, you know. And
Exactly.
we don't do those things, you know. We push ourselves, especially Black women, you know, we hold it down. We hold it down for the kids. We push ourselves and push and push and push until, you know, we're sick, because that internalizing the depression and internalizing the mental anguish and the feelings of, you know, not being good enough and all of that, we're just holding that stuff in our heart, you know, so it's coming out in other areas, you know, in other ways that's making us sick, you know, because we're sad, you know, we're not feeling worthy, we're not feeling like that we don't deserve certain things, we don't deserve love, you know what I'm saying, something as simple as being loved and cherished for the you know, for the beautiful queens that we are, and to experience that through an individual, we don't feel like we're worthy of that subconsciously, you know, and you can tell by the types of men we choose that we don't feel we're worthy of, you know, a man coming into our lives and cherishing us, you know. And I don't mean buying you a purse, I don't mean taking you out to dinner and spending $300 or $400 at Ruth's Chris or whatever, or buying you expensive jewelry. I mean something as simple as, you know, okay, baby, it's a weekend, you know, no, don't get up, I'll make breakfast, or you know, are calling you like, hey, do you know, you're good, you're at work, are you working late, let me send you DoorDash, let me bring you, you know, say like just something letting you know that he's concerned about your well-being. How was your doctor's appointment? What did they say? You know, what do we need to do? Like concerned about your well-being as his woman or his wife. I think that those need to be factors, you know, built into your choice of the type of man that you want, especially when you're considering marriage, you know. And we weren't taught those things, you know, growing up. So you chose someone based on their ability to provide for you, you know, and that ain't it. That ain't all of it. You know, it's just a little bit of it.
Yeah. And so that's a good segue into like the next question, which is now that you have been through these experiences, what are your non-negotiables and the green flags that you're going to look out for your next person? If you're
Yay.
planning.
I know. I love that you say non-negotiables, because I established a couple of them and I love that term. I love non-negotiables. I use that because they're literally deal breakers, you know, like
Yeah.
that's your things. And I think for
Mhm.
me, I kind of broke it down into it's 4 F's. I hope
Mhm.
I remember all 4 of them because I haven't had to mention it in a while. But the first thing is faith. I
Mhm.
need him to be. I don't need you to go to church. It's not like
Yeah.
you go to church. I need you to have a relationship with God.
Yeah.
Meaning, I need you to have had some type of experience that has done something to your heart,
Yeah.
where you're humble and you
Mhm.
submit to some kind of authority. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
in that you're not good. I'm not going to be dealing with pride. I'm not going to be
Mhm.
dealing with it's my way or no way.
Yeah.
If you have us separate and apart from me, I don't need
Mhm.
you to want a relationship with God because I got a relationship with God. So you acting like you
Yeah.
got a relationship with God because you know that's what I want you to
Exactly.
have, right? I need to see the fruit, of the
Mhm.
fact that you have a working relationship with God, where you have a prayer life, because I feel like that's the first order of business because you're gonna automatically know how to handle me if you
Yeah.
listening, if you hearing from God, because He's gonna tell you what to do as it relates to me.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
definitely faith. The second one is family.
Mhm.
I need him to understand family. I
Yeah.
need him to, I don't want to be in a situation where you don't have a good relationship with your family. So
Mhm.
therefore, me having a good relationship with my family, you don't want my sister to come over because you don't want
Yeah.
me bothered because you don't never talk to your sister or your
Yeah.
brother. So
Yeah.
you know me
Yeah.
like, why she got to come over here?
Mhm.
I want him to want to, I want to sit down and say, okay, baby, you doing Thanksgiving at your house this year, or we
Mhm.
hosting Thanksgiving, or do you want to do it at your? I want us, when family time and things come up, I want you to want to do that.
Yeah.
I see people that are married for years and their husband don't never want to come to nothing. They don't like, and
Mhm.
that's just because when you really dig into their background, they didn't
Mhm.
grow up, they didn't have that. That wasn't important to them,
Yeah.
so that's an issue because
Mhm.
we're not gonna be arguing over the fact that you don't want to be bothered,
Yeah,
with
exactly.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely family. Finances is one, and not that it's a provision thing, but I do want us to have a healthy understanding. And I keep using the word healthy because I'm
Yeah.
on things being healthy. I want us to have a healthy understanding of finances. I don't want to fight over money. I don't want it to be where, you hide money or I'm hiding money or I can't spend money or what we doing,
Mhm.
or we putting
Yeah.
everything in a joint account, or well, I want to, I like to eat out, or I like to do stuff, well, I may
Yeah.
want to buy, so I want us to have a healthy understanding of finances. And I mean, I want us to build together. I want us to
Mhm.
dream together. I want us
Yeah.
to, whether we have a business together or if it's something we do together, I want us to be able to create, together, so that
Yeah.
we have a healthy understanding of money. And the last thing is fun. I
Yeah.
want him to be my friend. I
Mhm.
have not I want I want him to be my friend. I
Yeah.
want to have fun with you. I
Yeah.
want to like you, but I want to love you, but I want to like you.
Yeah.
I want to just sit on the porch. I want to
Yeah.
come home. I want to call you and say, give you the tea,
Yeah,
for the day.
exactly.
I want you to, send me funny text messages and memes and, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I want to look forward to coming home even though you get on my nerves. I
Yeah.
want to call you and be like, you get on all my nerves, but what do you want? You want
Yeah.
this, or do you want this chicken sandwich? And answer
Exactly.
quick because I'm
Yeah.
almost at the drive-through line. Hurry up, don't be still
Exactly.
mad and don't talk to me when I get home. Like I want that, you know
Yeah, yeah.
because I've been in, again, I did not have that in either marriage.
Mhm.
There were times when it was fun. My first marriage, I mean, I promise you, every summer we took the kids to Disney, we took the kids to Six Flags. I mean, we did everything. But it was always like, well, we go to it, like throwing it back in my face, almost like,
Yeah.
well, we do all this, don't we? And, almost to make me feel ungrateful or something. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
dreaded doing stuff, because I
Mhm.
knew it was like look at me, I'm so great. I plan all this stuff, but I'm not
Mhm.
happy with you. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And so I want him to be, I want fun. I want
Yeah,
I want you to be my friend. I want us to
yeah,
decide, you know, I don't want to go to dinner with your friends. Let's just stay home and watch Netflix. I'm sleeping,
Mhm.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
it'd be cool. So
Mhm.
those are my non-negotiables, from
Yeah.
what I've experienced. And that's what, I want, and for my next, and preferably last,
Yeah. Yeah.
situation. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
want. Hmm.
Yeah, those are awesome. And I love the fact that you said that at the end, fun and friendship, because I
Hmm.
think that's the part that most people are missing. It's like they go into relationships and it's all about the relationship, and like you said, like the pressure of moving forward or whatever,
Yep.
and they don't have that friendship piece from the beginning. And so nine like I heard somebody say this, I don't know if it was a pastor, somebody said like it's like 90% um basically being friends, like it's 90% hanging out in a marriage. Like so you
You're with
need
the
to
person all the time. Like they're like my
exactly.
kids. Like my kids, like I love my kids. Like they're my
Yeah.
friends. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
blessing that they know I'm their mom and they respect
Yeah.
me, but like we love being around one another. We get on each other's
Yeah.
nerves, but we enjoy being
Mhm.
around one another. And
Yeah.
when you think about being married, you legit, we're around each other all the time,
Mhm.
and I don't think people think about that because they have taken this Instagram, social media, comparing
Mhm.
their relationship to others,
Yeah.
relationship goals. They're looking at
Yep.
other people. Oh, that's goals. That's
Mhm.
goals. So now you're basing everything that you want on what somebody else is telling you that you need,
Yeah.
and you go and you find this person that fits all of these things that social media is telling you need.
Yeah.
You don't even like them. Like you don't like
Exactly.
them and they don't like you.
Yeah.
They just with you because, again, you're the CEO or you're a boss chick or you got
Mhm.
this going on and you got that going on. So they're only with you for all of these temporary things,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
what I learned from my parents, and my mom is, transitioned. She's with the Lord. But what I learned from watching my parents is my dad was with my mom in sickness and in health, right? I
Mhm.
watched my dad, be with my mom, and that taught me a lot because
Mhm.
I know a lot of women, and I don't want to be morbid. I mean, people don't think like that, but we should, especially in these days, of COVID
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah.
else. You got to ask that person that question, what if I needed, I was sick, or what if I couldn't take care of myself? Would you take care of me or would you dip? Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not the
Exactly.
same, fine, flawless, head to toe, dressed, beautiful, whatever. What if I'm in the bed, and I can't get, you gonna bring me a bedpan, or you gonna bathe
Exactly.
me if I can't bathe myself? Are you
Yeah.
gonna? That's the part that I think people don't think about,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
that's a real thing,
Yeah.
and I know so many women that, have health scares or have things happen to
Mhm.
them, and the relationship is over,
Yeah.
because you're no longer fit that criteria of things that,
Exactly.
you went
He
into
got what you for in the beginning.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a real thing. And we're talking about marriage, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're not talking
Yeah.
about dating somebody for a short period of time. And I
Mhm.
think as women, we want to just hurry up and be married because our
Mhm.
girls are married, or we want the
Mhm.
wedding day, or we want to
Yeah.
be on social media, oh babe did this, or babe did that, babe,
Yeah.
you don't even like him. That.
Exactly.
You don't like him and he don't like you.
Yes.
Y'all
Yes.
don't like each other, and it's like you just together because it looks good, or it's
Yes.
for your ego, maybe it's for your brand, so it looks
Mhm.
good because he do this and you do that, and y'all trying to
Yeah.
put the business stuff together, but he don't like you and you don't like him.
Mhm. Yep.
And that's
I
the problem.
totally agree.
Now, if you're looking for something temporary like that and you just do, I mean, that's fine, all
Yeah.
jokes aside. But if
Yeah.
you truly, in your heart of hearts, honor marriage
Mhm.
and want to be in something beautiful, the way God created it to be,
Yeah.
two whole people that come together and make a whole, situation,
Yeah.
giving each other room, to still grow, still
Yeah.
make mistakes,
Yeah.
there's going to be imperfections, but man, to have somebody that gives you the grace, to come into that relationship and still grow, still
Yeah.
make mistakes, come in there as your authentic self. Look, dude, this is who I am. Yeah, my credit is amazing, but I might not be next week because I don't want this car no
Exactly.
more. Just something.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, leave me room to be me.
Yeah.
If we come into more relationships like that, they'll last longer.
Yeah.
Because you're with the person because I want to be with you, and then
Yeah.
you have to give that person grace to grow and to make
Yeah.
mistakes and to because we're still growing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's unfair to think that you can get with somebody, at even at 30, 35, and expect them to have it all figured out. Like, they're
Mhm.
still learning themselves, they're still growing.
Yeah.
There's still going to be disappointments. People get laid off from their jobs. What if you meet somebody and they're the CEO of their company and now they're laid off? They were making
Yeah.
6 figures. Like,
Exactly.
wrecked. They trying to figure, I done gave this company 15, 20 years. Like, how are you going to support that person through that?
Exactly.
It's a lot that comes with relationships that is off camera that people don't know how to navigate through.
Yeah. Yeah. And that all comes with the character. Like at the end of the day, everything that you just said comes in that character package that
Absolutely.
and that's what we as women have to look at is the character behind things. Like
Yeah. And
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 that
and no matter how fine he is, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? No matter how, well accomplished he is, like, we just got to take the L if he's not, if that character is not in place.
Yeah.
You will thank yourself later like it's not worth it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Date him, I mean, if you want to just date him, date him, but be honest with yourself, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, about what the situation really is,
Yeah.
and it's up to you, if you want to risk it, or what have you. But um if you're truly wanting something real, and when I say real, something long term,
Yeah.
um which is what the marriage vows are,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
really wanting something that's true to the vows, um just like, you just have to take the L if that's not it.
Yeah.
You're gonna thank yourself later,
Yeah.
because divorces are hard. I don't care how
Very.
people make them look.
Yeah.
Women are
Very.
like, girl, leave him, whatever,
Mhm.
you're gonna be straight. And then you out partying and, oh girl, yeah, I got this, and he gonna be paying me that, and I got the
Mhm.
house and the car and the this and the that. It's still it's miserable. Divorce is
Miserable.
hard.
Yeah.
Woo, it's
Yeah.
miserable, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Um,
Mhm.
so I don't know. It might take a little longer to go this route, when you're looking at character and all of that, but it's going to be
Yeah.
so much more beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm,
I totally agree.
mhm.
Okay, so I have two last questions to wrap
Okay,
everything up.
okay.
So the first question is, what would you tell your younger self before you were in any relationships ever? What would you tell her about relationships?
Woo, child. Whew. I would tell her that you deserve a. She like, she did good. She been doing good. Hey, sweetheart. She been doing so good. I was gonna say it died. Because,
No,
um,
no.
I would tell her to that um she deserves to be loved, and that um that's what she should be looking for.
Yeah,
Amongst other things, but that should be up on her list, on my list.
yeah.
I would tell younger me, you deserve to be loved, and you should
That's
look for that in a relationship.
yeah, yeah. I definitely can agree with that. Like because I don't think parents even really tell their children that. Like that
That's
like, yeah,
crazy.
we tell our children we love them, but the that you deserve to be loved
Hmm.
and to look for that in your relationships, like
They don't tell them. I tell
nobody is
that to my
telling their kids that.
Yeah, I tell that to my daughter. Now my daughter's 25, and she's dating, and
Mhm.
she's got a guy that she's serious about, and she'll be telling me stuff, and I'll be sitting there listening, and I'll be talking. I'm like, look, ma'am, you're the prize.
Yeah.
You're the prize.
Hmm.
He's
Yep.
not the prize.
Hmm.
You're the prize. I
Yep.
don't care what he does. You're the prize. You're it. You're
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
You are it. Like,
Yeah.
I beat that in, like, literally, I pound that in her brain.
Yeah.
You are the prize. So she can switch that concept. As women, we feel like the man is the prize. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, if he chooses me, if I can land him, look at Bay, look at my
Yeah.
man, look at who he
Yeah.
look, he fine, he doing this, he doing that. No,
Yeah.
you're the prize.
Yeah.
You are the gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're bringing, yes, he's bringing obvious, you're bringing value to one another, but
Yeah.
you are bringing so much comfort and
Hmm.
wisdom and value to him.
Yeah.
You make them better.
Yeah.
You know,
God said everything in the world he made, and when he made humans and he made the man, and he said it's not good. It wasn't good without
you
us.
weren't good, fool. Let me
You
get you
weren't.
weren't
God
good. You weren't
said,
good. You was
God
not
said
good.
everything was good. The stars was good. The everything was good except the man by himself.
He
The
looked
man
at
by
it and said,
himself was
it's
not
not
good.
good for man to be alone. Let
Yeah.
me create this amazing gift that
Yeah. For
I'm
him.
going
Yeah.
to I'm going to custom make a woman for
Mhm.
you,
Yeah.
right? To make you better.
Mhm.
And it's like, we don't see it that way. That's why we bicker with each other, and we want to fight other women over men, and go all in they, arguing on social media and stuff over men, because we don't know that we're the gift. We're the
Yeah.
prize. So
Yeah.
they sitting there thinking they the prize. That's why they
Mhm.
don't choose. They feel like they can have 3 or 4 women, because
Yeah.
they don't even understand, that it's a gift from
Mhm.
God for you to choose a wife
Yeah.
that is compatible to you,
Mhm.
and your life is going to soar. You're
Yeah.
going to go places, you just being committed and accepting that woman that's compatible for you. You're going to
Yeah.
be able to accomplish and achieve more.
Yeah.
Unless you just decided you don't want to be married. That's a different situation. But
Yeah.
if somebody who knows that they're supposed to be married, you need to make that decision.
Yeah.
It's going to make you so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So last question. For our audience out there, from your experiences, what would be the biggest piece of advice you would give these women who are separated and divorced and are looking for that hope and that joy and that freedom on the other side of their pain?
Oh my gosh. Whoo, I could cry.
Mhm.
What I would first tell her is that um you are a gift. You are a gift from God. Um Whatever role you may or may not have played in the relationship resulting in what it is, forgive yourself. It may have been things that you didn't know that you know now.
Yeah.
So forgive yourself for that decision, even the decision to be a wife. You know what I mean? Forgive yourself and give yourself grace. Um, and understand that you deserve to be loved,
Mhm.
and you deserve to be honored and celebrated for the woman that you are, even though you may not be where you feel you want to be, in your
Mhm.
life.
Yeah.
But you're still worth it. right now.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you got to go back and get a degree, whether you don't have a job, whether you've had babies and you're not the size 6 that you were, and you bet whatever the case may be, you're worthy and you deserve to be loved.
Yeah.
And just forgive yourself, for what you may feel was your fault, or somebody else is making you feel like it's your fault. Just forgive yourself for it, and move forward knowing that you deserve to be loved.
That is awesome. That is a great way to end this conversation. And
Man.
I thank you so much for being a part of this series. Where can people find you to join your Facebook group and all the other things that you have going on?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Facebook. It's Dru Martin, DRUMARTIN. The Facebook private group is called SIS, SIS. It's all in caps, SIS, and it's for someone I support. That's the Facebook group. You can also follow me. I'm on Instagram, and that's at Dru _ Martin, and that's where I do my lives, my sis lives on Tuesday evenings at 8:30.
Okay, and I'll make sure to put everything in the description box. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me. Everybody be well. Thank you.
Bye-bye.